Yeah, you know who it is. In this folklore, we're going to talk about Coventry, which is my word for covens, and it encompasses good, neutral, and evil, light, neutral, and dark. It encompasses everything. But Coventry, best described as spellbinding. Coventry is the practice of saying a prayer to the universe in the form of light in heaven, the form of nature in existence, in the form of dark in hell. We identified it as magistry, hexenry, and sorcery, where covens of an allied forces are named under what they collectively decide, to be beacons of magical might in the form of spoken word, lyricism, and poetry. Voice your commands in the highest of hopes, but knowing deep down that you are such power, will unleash such power. Magistry, hexenry, and sorcery are lovely and hellified ways of unleashing magical might. If you desire to be the controller of multiple powers, it's the way to go. You can be inducted into a coven or gather a group of at least 6. All it takes is a sacrifice, and if the sacrifice is worthy, the universe will pay it beyond forward to where you will have the power to decide how powerful you want to be. Symbolism is important, and the status quo. Your spell book is where your power originates. What you want to be true should be comprised of literature splendor. The more natural-minded your spells, the mightier you will be. Sacrificing for and saying them enough times to bring them to life could be brought to life without having to sacrifice for or say them again. That's when the mastering of spellbinding begins. The truly mighty can summon their most detrimental or replenishing spells without a single sound. Training can decrease the amount of ether needed to cast the spells too, but the more ether anyone uses, the more potent the spells will be. Your war strategies will decide your fate on and off the battlefields. There are no set rules to how you can practice spellbinding, but the discipline knows how to tap into this reality constantly. Earlier, I mentioned that a single person can become a spellbinder. In the Tristone era, covens always begin with 6 or more individuals. A group reciting their coven opening enough with the appropriate enchanted materials will begin a coven. They will mark a totem, and it will be placed in a celestial being or equivalent of where it's beginning. Space colonies are big and mighty enough to be considered celestial beings in some of my universes. The Crimson Collector would be one of them. A great amount of covens have been created on space colonies in this universe. Now I will begin talking about the make, model, totem, type, magic books, totem magic books, the way of life, and what's in between. Through describing how they are through the characters. There are 33 spellbinders in the Crimson Collective. That's a lot to cover. I try to keep them short, but some of them do require longer explanations because of which characters are connected to them. Then again, you know me. Imagination laying longer than my killing methods on Smash Brothers. Come get mistreated sometime. But these spellbinders know how to mistreat a victim all too well while healing others if need be. I'll begin with the chronological order of each coven in each category of magistry, hexenry, and sorcery. I will bring up the coven's origin year to their sigils, bases, totems, and any information I deem pertinent to their way of life. There will be short summaries of each coven, concise as I possibly could get them without spending hours talking about their culture. At the end of each one, I will tell you what the character deems themselves, whether it's a techer, wizard, wizardress, mage, magician, sorcerer, sorceress, binder, caster, castress, wordist, witch, warlock, womancer, mancer, enchantress, or enchanter. May you enjoy. All magistry wielders. Fifthany Lozo of the Tumbling Roses. Her 4 categories are Firefly, Light, Gravity, and Ice. She's a white mage. Then there's Dangerous of the Tumbling Roses. Her 4 categories are Diamond, Dragon, Sword, and Ray. She's a white mage too. This coven originated in 1745. Its sigil is a female shadow kneeling down with 2 magical swords. appearing to be garbed in black with red eyes and a red aura around her. The swords are all gold. A Majesty Coven created by 7. The totem is a smoking idol, an ancient stone on a black gold chain. It emits red smoke out of it when it's swinging like a pendulum. It's located at Nerulum Diteven of Edgemer, the home turf of the Tumbling Roses. It sits underneath their academy's grand cauldron, about 3 feet below, and can only be summoned up by Lozo, Dangerous, or the other primas of the Coven. The passcode is, what's really good is on our side. In this ancient time of Edgemer, of 1745, 7 maidens decided to put their intellect and might together to start a union for dames, by dames, doing what they do for the world. Not entirely evil, not entirely virtuous. What they originally set out to do was for the betterment of society in a whole. God culture was beginning a shift that would directly affect female kind of Edgemer. They have been helping to keep the gender equality existent and off with heads any other time. Still upholding the mantra, but have been leaning more into the Amazonian regiments nowadays. Lozo, the casters. Dangerous, the casters. Milagroso, the Azure Acolytes. 4 categories: Sound, Orbital, Echidna, and Keys. He's a blue mage. Zooms, of the Azure Acolytes. 4 categories are Light, Diamond Dog, Zenith, and Fire. He's a blue mage. But to touch on Diamond Dog real quick, it's a Sheba with a diamond horn, the unicorn of dogs. Originated in 1745. Their sigil is a male angel kneeling down with a magical sword, wings, and halo. The silhouette is all azure except for the eyes. The eyes are white, the halo is gold, the wings are white, and the sword is gold and white. A Majesty Coven created by 7. The totem is an eternal sage wand. When the top is off, it emits small flames and white smoke. It's located at Kunju, Diteven, the home turf of the Azure Acolytes. Basically next door to the Tumbling Roses. But their headquarters are separated by the borders of Nerulum and Kunju. But moving along, and that's what I meant earlier, but I can go on for hours. But moving right along, it sits in the center bell tower of their stronghold. On the 9th floor of it, in a box inside of a wall, is highly enchanted to where only Zooms, Milagroso, and appointed ministers can open it. Their passcode is Evil Laendi. At the time they were being built, a lot of old world legions were beginning to die out, one by one. Individuals would grow tired of living and die out the God way, which is simply being content with living thus far. This was leaving gaps in a world where Dark Lords could develop strongholds that would expand across nations. This was one of the first legions that happened to be mages, to start a new world order. Milagroso, the Binder. Zooms, the Binder. Giti Gichi of the Silver Club. 4 categories of Psychic, Life, Phoenix, and Water. He's a blue mage. The Silver Club originated in year 1934. Their sigil is a silver coin that reads, "For dreams of luxury, say a prayer. To safety, on a silver high horse you go." The language is in Edgemer words 12, which is still the language of the current Edgemer. A combination group that hosts Majesty Mages. It was created by 13. And to quickly elaborate on it, this group involves all types and facets of warriors. Example, Quiver, Zeophany, and Silver are members of this coven, but they are nowhere near mages. Moving along, their totem is a silver horseshoe, about the size of a big-headed human. It has some wear and tear on it, but retains the shape in which it was enchanted when. There are alpha signs on one side, there are omega signs on the other. It's located in the pack of the current head of the Silver Club. There will be silver nowadays. In times where there weren't legions named after metalloids, Somebody simply thought of making clubs based on many metalloids. The Silver Clubs took their stay by trying harder than necessary to impress the four moons of Edgemere. They have been the main metalloid named Legion for many millennia now. Giti Gichi, the Wordist. Indrakos of the Dark Sea of Stars Coven. 4 categories of spirits: black, blank, and octopus. He's a black mage. Fikora Law, his little sister, the Dark Sea of Stars Coven. Her 4 categories of spirits: void, life, and ray. She's a white mage. The Dark Sea of Stars Coven originated in 2918. Their sigil is a black and white striped 5-point star, upside down with 5 eyes in the center that points to the 5 points. A Magistry Coven created by 25. Totem is a custom-made flag that represents this coven. It's all black with 100 white stars sewn on it, but not in a pattern. Majority of the stars are in the upper left-hand corner to symbolize the front of it. It's located in one of their members' clothes chest, not enchanted or anything. Anyone could come and take it if they knew where it was. However, it travels quite often. It travels often to protect the family that happens to have the least power, and yes, the totem is a premonitionist. For families that wanted magical protection from the worlds in ultimate form. In short, this coven was made in order to protect the less powerful. Eventually, generations began birthing top-notch super beings, and their protection began to reach the stars. Side note, the flag has never been in the abode or have been seen by anyone alive of the House of Erzad O. Yet, it's going to show up right before Indrakos and Fikora Law exits Crunch's ship for the last time. Indrakos, the Warlock. Fikora Law, the Womancer. Andravora, of the Broken Sky Bodies. Her 4 categories are Serpent, Psychic, Sun, and Enchant. She's a blue mage. The Broken Sky Bodies originated in year 2920. Their sigil is an obvious figure of a male body in distortion mode, falling. A Majesty Coven created by 6. Their totem is a female marionette doll that looks like a jester. It's mostly reds, mostly dark red, and shimmers with every beam of light. All of it is still intact even though it looks as if it's been through some millennia. It's located at a warehouse, close to the center of the roof. It's guarded by an incredibly strong enchant. It's where the coven holds most of their shindigs. As exampled before, this coven has a thing for falling bodies. They have been known to save the world a time to 14, but every time they do so, there's always some symbolism of falling bodies out of the sky. It's how the universe shows that they are doing magically powerful things. Even to this day, when Andravora is out practicing heroism, elevated levels in spellbinding will start to have bodies raining. Yes, it's for the doom of it all. Andravora, the Enchantress. Bazarin, of the Exovilor. 4 categories: Enchant, Astronomy, Psychic, and whatchamacallit. He's a yellow mage. The Exovilor originated in 3233. Their sigil is a mallet, diagonally from upper left to lower right, with 6 different colored pairs of hands on each side of the mallet. A Magistry Coven created by 12. The Blissol Press, currently being wielded by Bazarin. That's the total. If it's not on his person, it's in his personal inventory dimension. Time began so long ago in Edgemere. Made of the stone of the yellow moon of Edgemere. Is forbidden to be picked up by gods or goddesses of Edgemere. The first human that lifted it used it to make this coven. In every other generation, it will leave its throne to be carried by one of the coven members. Whenever the last wielder dies, it will magically find its way back to its throne. Every member that turns 13 who was born into the coven goes through the ceremony of lifting it. Anyone that can hold it more than 5 seconds is chosen by it. Bazarin, the Enchanter. Echoes of the Maximu Céu. 4 categories are Life, Enchant, Flare, and Unicorn. He's a green mage. Painija, of the Maximu Céu. Her 4 categories are Kyojin, which is the eyeball monster with tentacles, dark, fire, and electricity. She is a green mage. The Maximu Céu originated in year 4723. Their sigil is a meteor. Within the meteor, a bouquet of roses, a pair of devil wings, a halo, and 5 baby heads in a diamond formation, with the meteor having red flames around it. A magistrate coven created by 6. Totem is a toy tower with 7 levels in the color of the rainbow, in the Tristone era order. It has a piece chipped off on the 3rd level, the blue level. It was a toy that was handed down from one child to the next for 5 generations, before it was used as a source of innocence for this coven. It's located in the gorge of the Maximu Céu, which is shaped like this tall piece of rock flat on the top with a bridge to it in the middle of a mountainous region. Moving along, throughout their history, they have lived mostly a secluded and hidden life, until the witch hunter times close to 8100s forced them to fight for their continued existence. In turn, awarded them the throne of Brazil Zero. Now they are considered noble people because Brazil Zero immediately began to be taken care of by handing out miracles until everyone had no choice but to shut the hell up. Nowadays, all Brazils across the humanoid sphere are taken care of because of Echoes and Painaja's altruism. Echoes, the wizard. Painaja, the wizardress. Old Dweller of the Degrada Juni. 4 categories are Magic Carpet, Black Hole, Energy, and the Graffiti. He's a black mage. The Degrada Juni originated in year 5203. A magic carpet with the rainbow chakra above it and a misty aura is the sigil. A majesty coven created by 36. Totem is a box with a different image carved into each side. Images are a magic carpet, a bunny in a top hat, a ringed planet, 6 dice, a pterodactyl, and a music box that has a quaver on the side of it. The totem is colored up as a blue-hued gradient maximized in glitter. It's located at an enchanted area of Space Colony Vanchero Box, in the catacombs of the Brixo sector. It floats around freely in a sector that has no artificial intelligence or life forms that will be curious about it. This coven is the only entity that has access to the catacombs. Space Colony Vanchero Box only exists because this coven was created to save it. It's one of those space colonies that aren't under the jurisdiction of the galactic forces. The people on it keeps it alive. But during grave times, it took a coven wanting to pray to turn it around. There was a sacrifice of 30 people that made this coven forever powerful. From infant ages to elder ages, the sacrifices were specially crafted for an immortal purpose. Over the many years of its existence, its home has always been Space Colony Vanchero Box. Old Dweller, the Warlock. Lyciso, of the Crumbs of Life Order. Her 4 categories are Life, Ray, Holy, and Flare. She's a white mage. The Crumbs of Life Order originated in year 5333. Their sigil is a chocolate chip cookie that's surrounded by 4 elements of wind, earth, water, and fire. A majesty coven created by 7. Totem is a barbarian sword that's made out of platinum with the handle that reads, "For cookies only." It's located at G Tahan, Malaysia, sitting pretty in a black stone with a light from the ceiling over it. If you guessed that the originators were hard up on chocolate chip cookies, you guessed right. They are the cookie monsters of spellbinding. Just don't be upset at them for having the first chapter of their master spell book devoted to cookies, about 24 pages worth. What a spell can be used for one or a banquet worth of people. Either way, their recipes have acquired residual magical might from the ether of existence and being used so much. Each ancestor is in every crumb. For everyone that keeps cookies in their diet adds to their individual godlike might. Lyciso, the Castress. Huvigi, Poems of Wyastar. His 4 categories are Clown, Stars, Lava, and Enchant. He's a red mage. Palms of Wyastar originated in year 6212. Their sigil is a right palm, orbs on each finger segment, one giant orb in the center of the palm, and blue flames surrounding the palm. A magistry-based coven that began with 6. Totem is a giant right Grok's hand. It's in the center of a nebula that is located between galaxies 003 and 007. They began with palm reading, building a contraption that can help super beings see their mental sphere grid with real eyes. Their hands over the contraption will show their lifelines, and the magic behind them will show the mental sphere grid for whoever needs to see. Helped with bounds of technology and the advancement of aerology. Eventually, they were able to unlock bounds of ability points, which was this coven's ticket to the record books. Huvigi, the Warlock. Allura, the Queen of the Miracles Quarter Coven. Her 4 categories are Hydra, Dark Matter, Vegetation, and Fire. She's a green mage. The Miracles Quarter Coven originated in year 8101. That is 23 years before the story starts. Just to make sure you know who Allura is and when this coven came about. The sigil is a woman acting as if she's the Tree of Life, a magistry coven created by 6. Only in Allura's case, she was the only person in this equation. Everyone else was an entity, spirit, or god, via Mother Nature herself. The totem is a direct seed from the Tree of Life. It's located in Palisade City of Africa, planet Uldes. It's above the altar of the Grand Ceremonial Hall of Palisade City. Mother Nature watches humanity just as much as any other natural entity and celestial being of reality. What she saw in a kid Allura was tremendous, and she just wanted to ensure the little girl would have an easy stay in life. Not predicting that she would use it to form a coven was a surprise that's continued to surprise her. Because of Allura, Mother Nature has directly been forced to see other Gaia catalysts throughout the stars. In turn, could possibly make humanity shift into a cleaner direction. Allura, the Wordist. Now we move on to the Hexamery Wielders. Pormos, of the Diablero Culto. His 4 categories are Poison, Stegosaur, Manipulation, and Sun. He's a black mage. The Diablero Culto originated in year 1745. A horned male head figure with upside-down stars as eyes, all red. A hexamery coven created by 6. The totem is a long barbarian sword made out of molten lava. It's in the main hallway of their headquarters in Edgemere. Their dimension is a pocket dimension that moves with ease and outside of the current peace treaty. No one has been able to be powerful enough to intercept their home magic. No one has been able to pry the secret from any of their lackeys either. After a war that knocked out all of the covens prior to year 1745's curse was done running its course, magic began to sprung out of the magical wells of Edgemere again. The legends of those like Zithania, Merlin, Aphrodite, Zelda, and the like began to rise again. A lot of the mistreated made their fractions, but there was this one that believed in total darkness. They created the essence of hell where devils thrive, and all of the castanic magic will turn you into a hellraiser too. These warlocks are all anti-establishment to a beyond full extent. Good luck. Lastly, in one way, shape, or form, whether it's minute or in a large capacity, this coven is associated with most dark lords of Edgemere. Pormos, the Warlock. Beautiful A and Beautiful Z of Zhykierra Lux. Beautiful A's categories are life, vegetation, manipulation, and sound. She's a green mage. Beautiful Z's categories are dimension, enchant, currency, and stars. She's a yellow mage. Zhykierra Lux originated in year 3371. And just to help you out with it, Zhykierra Lux is spelled Zhykierra-Lux. Their sigil is a woman's silhouette, halved by a sword with her right eye emitting energy. It's a hexenry coven made up by 13. The totem is the heart of a super being with the superpower of all. It has been drained of all of her blood, but still acts like it beats. It's been immortalized. It's located at the Grand Halls of Zhykierra, of Caliqua, Asia, planet Nafisi. Even though the Beautifuls were born and raised on a space colony, this coven has spread across the entirety of the Sistine Galaxy. 12. Always has been a noble, on the side of virtue coven that has never been implicated in anything bad. Those who aren't good-natured and want to follow the rules of their immortal powers are allowed to sever from the coven and retain their magical might. The blood of the coven may not stay good, but they don't completely exile their own kind. Those kind may be subject to witch hunting though. Their secret lies in that their totem is the heart of one of the fanatics of Curse 3333, using her magical life essence to make a coven for virtue. Beautiful A and Z, the Techers. Janique of the Yunnov. Her 4 categories are electricity, visorium, vegetation, and life. She's a green mage. The Yunnov originated in year 4423. Their sigil is 6 hands in a hexagonal vortexing formation. 6 colors of teal, fuchsia, violet, azure, green, and red. A hexenry-based combination coven of 6. And I say combination because there were 6 different covens that decided to join. Their totem is a glyph created out of 12 enchanted items from several different dimensions. Created their totem when they combined. The first spell was combining a space colony half the size of planet Saturn with Saturn, turning Saturn into Nicetoma, where the planet reflected planet Earth, but its ozone was thicker so that sun rays treated it as if it was in Earth's orbit whenever it's in a quadrant of their galaxy. Didn't even affect space travel to and fro. It's in how they were able to turn a half-dead planet into mostly paradise that's never ending. With a magical world atmosphere revolving around beanstalks, it was a children's book kind of a world on one half of the planet. The Yunnov's power lies in the mirror planet scenario, truly making the planet the totem because it's protected by the ghost side of the planet. With it being there, and only has been accessed by less than 100 of the coven over time, those few survivalists are considered gods and goddesses, making Nicetoma act like one of the moons of Edgemer. Janique, the Magician. Suite 13, the Misters of La Oasis. 4 categories are Rival, Explosion, Vegetation, and Astronomy. Remember, Rival is a superpower of space. He's a green mage. Carelessly, the Mistresses of La Oasis. 4 categories are Trick, Pegasus, Fire, and Dark Matter. She's a red mage. And to explain something real quick, La Oasis originally started out as females. The only way males can get in this coven is if they are born into the coven. But the magic of the coven will change the sperm and make sure that a female is procreated. The Mistresses of La Oasis originated in year 6447. Their sigil is a very leafy palm tree on a single island surrounded by blue water and a red sunset. A hexenry coven created by 6. Their totem is a magenta wisp. His name is Dononichi Mimig. After leaving Edgemer to go on his journeys, he turned from human form to wisp form. And side note, Edgemer, their kind are wisp. They have been wisp since the dawn of their universe, and they have been wisp since attaching their universe to another universe. But when they do attach to another universe, they will take on the form of dead intelligent species that they found. In this case, it will be humans. Angels, devils, and fairies do not exist in this world, so you ain't gotta worry about it, but humans. But getting back on track. It wasn't until he saw the heinous societies of space colonies that he wanted to offer up his magical might to women that were at the bottom of the totem pole. He's been holding down his immortal happiness for this coven. He is located on Space Colony, L3R Star Union, LV-86. because he is invisible to the human eye. No one ever sees him floating around because he's also invisible to other gods. In order for anyone to summon a member of the Coven, they must say the following poem. Mankind was once dorky, adorable, and hot. Toes close to earth, tons of heat to the lot. Till one day they soared and soared. On earth no more, they soared. Legacies lost to bliss and stars, led to the abyss. Forgetting blood should guide all to La Oasis. Suite 13, the caster. Carelessly, the techer. Apocalypse of the Serpittigus. 4 categories are demon, curse, poison, and serpent. He's a black mage. The Serpittigus originated in year 7320. A serpent doing a 5-point infinity symbol. Head appears in the middle, looking at whoever is looking at it. That's the sigil. A hexenry coven created by 12. The totem is a simple stuffed snake that can coil into snake formations or just look like a long piece of fabric. It's enchanted as invulnerable as any other coven's totem, but it's bright green on the top and bright tan on the bottom with a long red tongue, but its eyes are made of universal gems. The kinds you can look into and think of planets of any variety, but works best with planets you know. You can zoom in on any planet known to man, and even the dimensional planets. But moving along, a coven of warlocks. They have always wanted a simple guild of the cool guys to be. Always with the motorbike vibes, but always with the brethren of gentlemen. They were kings to be, and have always had a great reputation with humanity as one of the leading protective covens. His current star is very bent on being his code name. Stopping any kind of apocalypse is never beneath him. He was awarded a doppelganger's life work, then immediately went to work with mastering it so he can continue the legacy of the Serpittigus. Apocalypse, the wordist. Now moving along to the sorcery wielders. Avosia of Ungai Rayon Uchu. Her 4 categories are light, life, weather, and hypnotism. She's a blue mage. Ungai Rayon Uchu originated in year 718. Their sigil is a peacock humanoid in front of a catapult and holding an enchanted sword. A sorcery-based coven began with 6. Totem is a cerulean-colored humanoid-sized peacock skull of a female. It resides inside of the blue moon of Edgemel. This coven was established way before Edgemel linked with this universe. They accomplished a lot to become a coven that took over a kingdom. Zhykierra went through some war times around this time period. This coven was one of the ones to help with the easing of times. They were in charge of healing the masses because at that time, majority of the folks were medics. Usually stayed out of all of the mass murder, but was eventually pulled into it as the war times got more intense. This particular war lasted for 7 decades. On and on with the atrocities, but it was Ungai Rayon Uchu that ended it when they took out 14 bloodlines that was fueling the war the most. They were awarded the throne and fought to make Zhykierra a better nation. It wasn't until Avosia was born in year 6797 that a new world peace for Edgemel would begin to develop. She was in charge of the spell the 5 performed that created the peace treaty. All of the ingredients, too long to go over, but know the sacrifice for the spell revolved around some unsavory choices. Those unsavory choices made Edgemel, nowadays, an incredibly easy place to travel. Avosia, the wordist. Vohendre of Moiler, Etcheray. 4 categories are life, death, time, and hedgehog. He's a white mage. Moiler Etcheray originated in year 2849. Their sigil is a block sitting atop of grass. Block is segmented as gray, black, and gray, with giant red dots on the upper middle, right middle, and lower left areas. A sorcery-based coven created by 6. Their totem is a set of smiling teeth, set as a rolling around chumper toy. It's located in Navo's Thailand 0, at the Moiler Etcheray Grand Hall's inner sanctum, steadily rolling around and chumping in random rolling patterns. For laughter, this coven was created. because laughter is one of the leading forms of innocence everyone can deeply appreciate. Now, to be happy in this world, you have to be mighty enough to fight off atrocities, to kill all atrocities. This coven is responsible for 7 of the key items in existence that could be used as weapons of mass destruction and or creation. Their most lit example is Curse 4444, aka Oopsies. Yeah. Vohendre is their father, and Vohendre is off the chain. Vohendre, the sorcerer. Dozer of Brethren Raiki. 4 categories of command, fire, vibration, and rhino. He's a red mage. Brethren Raiki originated in year 2933. A football helmet over a face with stars as eyes, one right side up, the other opposite. That's their sigil. A sorcery-based coven created by 15 warlocks. Their totem is a crystallized right glove, woven with octagonal cut magically enchanted diamonds in paradise. It can provide ultimate backhands, but it's just a museum piece nowadays. Guarded by reinforced galactic forces at the Museum of Coventry, located at Boston, Massachusetts. All Coven members have free admission, and during closed hours, they can simply portal to it to portal somewhere else, anywhere within the real-world humanoid sphere. They started out as 15 kids who were orphaned when the Coven was decimated. Their parents were decimated too, but the remains of the Coven went into their vessels. There was a lot of hard coming of ages, but eventually learned their magical might, then formed it over handshakes and words. Those words wrote their Coven into existence, and they have been spreading masterful magical might since. Dozer, the warlock. Zhykierra of the Degrada. 4 categories are Dark Serpent, Black Hole, and Explosion. He's a black mage. The Degrada originated in year 2972. Their sigil, 2 hands, parallel but opposite, with thumbs facing outward. 5 transparent glowing orbs between the hands and the colors of blue, green, white, black, and red. A sorcery-based coven created by 13. Their totem is the original right hands of the 13 that made the coven. Don't worry, they regenerated their hands with spells eventually. The hands are holding the wrist of the next coven member until a circle was made. It acts as a wreath, and it is hanging on a whitish, transparent door that looks like it holds the universe within it. Door leads to nowhere, but the wreath does, and the wreath is still warm as if blood is still flowing through the hands. Totem is located within the Degrada estate. During their existence, they have been one of the leading covens in the fight against witch hunters, until they were ended by the witch hunters in year 7062. Even though Zhykierra could start adding more members to the coven, he is waiting for a period of humanity where there will be less bloodshed. Technically, the Degrada is not dead because their totem still exists, but the entirety of their magical might of the last great amount of 363 members lives on in the black body of chaos. Something that intrigues every super guild, but none of them have been able to get past Zhykierra to get it out of the estate. Zhykierra, the Mancer. Via Vitica of Chasing Chaos. 4 categories are time, manipulation, whatchamacallit, and tightness. She's a white mage. Chasing Chaos originated in year 4522. Their sigil, 2 hands from behind, reaching into a spiral vortex. A sorcery coven created by 6. However, only 1 remains. Totem is a giant stone fist. It sits on a deserted island with enchants to keep it deserted. It is only touched by weather and insects. Somewhere in dimension, plates of Salir. A half-hero, half-villainous group of individuals who felt the need to live forever, all with simple, lovely reasons of seeing humanity develop. The surviving member's main reason that was seeing the high school she would be the first to attend for 4 years be constructed. The indication of being the first to grace a high school was the beginning of her desire for immortality. The other 5 had similar reasons, but they eventually grew content with their hundreds to thousands of years of seeing humanity live on. This coven consists of one member and one member only. Her gift to the universe is giving actual immortality to those who truly desire it, and to figure that out, she created a spell that would give them a sample of being an audience member forever. The thousands of others who claimed they wanted it never got it. Yes, she's deemed the serial killer for putting everyone through those tests. Via Vitica, the witch. Q Vocal of the Itamazi Library. Her 4 categories are light, explosion, mirror, and lava. She's a red mage. The Itamazi Library was created in 4630. Their sigil, X marks the spot, with 3 5-point stars, a head of a griffin, 2 balled-up fists, and a single diamond in the emptiness, in clockwise order. The X is always red, and the items are always white. A sorcery-based coven created by 17. Their totem is a pyramid made out of die for role-playing board games. It's about 7 layers high, and all die are of various transparencies, but all die are number 1 facing up. It's located in their headquarters, that's located at capital Ellsworth of Antarctica, planet Maycho. This coven originated with the intention of making sure the history of Coventry is accurate. Because of this, history books revolving around spellbinding was perfected in year 7000. Diligently putting their archiving intelligence to the top of their priority list has helped this coven with compiling the most smooth and powerful spells. Enhancing a little bit here and there allowed them to stay high ranked, but they shared their enhancements with the covens they took from, giving them a reputation of intelligence and danger. But allies throughout time say that they are what their name is. Mostly librarians that mind their business to keep everything quiet. Take it how you comprehend. Q Vocal, the sorceress. Correcto of the Golden Castle Coven. 4 categories are X, manipulation, language, and shadow. He's a red mage. The Golden Castle Coven originated in year 5471. Their sigil, aligned with 7 shards representing a basic symbol of a golden crown or castle. A sorcery coven created by 7. Their totem is a golden cobra with wings. Its size is derivative to an actual non-super being cobra, but has a bit of a back where the wings are attached. From the scales to the tongue to the eyes to the wings, it's all golden. It lives in the inner sanctum of the golden castle in the sky. That is located on an unmanned planet, sitting on the equator and rotates with the planet. Planet Zallegro. As secret as it's kept, the actual home of this coven is rarely visited, but it retains as a stronghold that created the legendary coven. 7 men of gold are its variants, as a superpower decided to form this niche coven. The planet they chose to keep their secret stronghold has nothing to offer humanity. It's just sitting pretty with a very small amount of habitable land. It's 95% water, but over the 1 chunk of landmass sits the golden castle in the sky. Built with a massive load of enchants and golden bricks, constantly drawing mirror energy from the planet just to stay afloat. Over time, it has become an archive for villainkind. They will take their most formidable evil tools there and keep them there until they are forced to use them again. As of now, it has 13 items that could fuck up the entirety of the superhero guild. Correcto, the wordist. Mr. Kiddish, the Dazonius Orb. Categories are Black, Ice, Time, and Phoenix. He's a black mage. The Dazonius Orb Coven originated in year 5626. Their sigil, an electrified fired, watered, and earthed orb holding an upside-down smiley with big eyes that have right-side-up mad faces in them. A sorcery coven created by 6. Their totem is a crystal ball enchanted to show all areas of humanity, even their dimensions. Usually sitting in the headquarters, looking like an orb that glows the most profuse amount of smoke. It's usually showing the Coven members floating above it in various ways, coined as the Coven of Orbs, making full circles out of everything they do. They never left anything unturned. This Coven created so many apocalyptic turnovers in their origin that it screwed humanity over, for an undeterminable amount of time. Coven still upholds its roots of being able to put the inhumane in their places. That's without the use of key items. That's with pure spell might. Mr. Kiddish, the Sorcerer. Wink, of Urena Yolt. 4 categories are Portal, Rainbow, Charm, and Energy. She's a white mage. Urena Yolt originated in year 5762. A deck of cards with one hand over them and the other hand holding the middle finger up is their sigil, a sorcery-based coven created by 66 people. The totem of this coven are the 60 people that created the origin deck of cards. Those 60 super beings jumped into an exotic material chamber to create a material specific to them. The 6 people who created this coven turned their essence immortal and began to establish a universal tarot system. The totem is located in the storage of one of their shops across the humanoid sphere, located in Dimension Luigi somewhere. Their magic has been administered around humanity enough to where it is used by all covens. Their truest might lies in their bloodlines, which is why Wink is so incredibly powerful, on top of the power cells in her spinal cord. She only uses those for teleporting across the galaxies. Her direct magical might comes from understanding her coven's magic intuitively and intelligently. Urena Yolt herself wouldn't want it any other way. Wink, the Sorceress. Yuvatis, of the Viswatos clan. 4 categories are Portal, Spirits, Ray, and Energy. He's a white mage. The Viswatos clan originated in 6174. Their sigil is a man on his knees with his hands praying, profile style, with 7 swords emitting from the silhouette. A sorcery clan created by 24. Their totem is a special custom-made night sword designed by the original 24, using Ramazan's lineage. You know, the guy on the blue level. He's the blacksmith. Using Ramazan's lineage a couple of millennia ago to make this silver, dark-stained, golden-hilted masterpiece. Is located floating in the air of the Arco's headquarters. In the center upper room underneath the dome, floating gently, 5 feet in the air with the tip of the sword facing groundward. In all reality, we are all the swords. A coven bent on being another stronghold for heroes, set out to help right the wrongs of many dark lords that have transferred into the real world. They specialize in creating one-man armies who all have access to the Master Sword collection. Their grand armory is named Bakinra. It's the only armory known that has 75 swords from the River of Swords. Some faction has to collect them, right? And on that note, so the River of Swords is a very special place, and it don't matter who you are, if you want a powerfully enchanted sword, just make it to that river. It will give you one. It might even think you're super special and take you somewhere to get you one. Anyway it goes, find your way to, the Tri-Stone era universes and you might be set for life. But Yuvatis, the caster. Last but not least, Chromatic, an allegiance to darkness. His 4 categories are Fire, Lightning, Skeleton, and Manipulation. He's a red mage. An allegiance to darkness originated in year 7320. Their sigil, a man floating, being hugged and touched by plenty of shadows. A sorcery coven created by 7. Their totem is a giant human eyeball. Magic, of course. It's as if the eye is a millimeter smaller than a basketball. It feels like crystal, but the iris acts as if it can see, and it will telepathically talk to whoever it sees. Its location is with Chromatic, since he is the most adventurous warlock of his coven. It will stay on his ship whenever he's out adventuring. Under false pretenses, this coven acts like they are with all the shits when in reality, they are getting as much intellect on the wicked to end wicked instances faster. The Origin members were all hurt by entities of darkness. In their revenge, they used those dark lords to power an immortal in darkness coven that will always have weapons of mass darkness to better suit all of humanity. Chromatic, the Warlock. Now that all of the covens have been spoken for, I want to give examples of the colors of mages. There are no elemental reasonings, no destructive reasonings, or no creative reasonings. All mages have the abilities to destroy and create, in the capacity of all elements and non-elements. It depends on their 4 category choices. That's what they have the most power in. Everyone's individual sight of might is best exampled in being their enemy on the battlefield. Their actions are the only things that will explain why they chose their 4 main categories. This makes all the mages battle and cleric types. Moving along. Black mages. They are doom oriented. Uses mostly dark magic. There will be Indracos, Pormos, Apocalypse, Joyer, and Mr. Kiddish. White mages are ethereal oriented. They use mostly light magic. There will be Fifany Lozo, Daedrus, Ficora Law, Lyciso, Vohendre, Viavitica, Wink, and Uvatis. Red mages. They are venture-oriented. Uses mostly offensive magic. There will be Huvigi, Carelessly, Dozer, Qvoco, Correcto, and Chromatic. Blue mages. Safety-oriented. Uses mostly defensive magic. There will be O Milagroso, Zooms, Giti Gichi, Androvora, and Avosia. Yellow mages. They are peace-oriented. Uses mostly non-elemental magic. Mostly psychic. There will be Bazarin and Beautiful Z. And the green mages. Nature-oriented. Uses mostly natural magic. There will be Echoes, Pinisia, Allura, Beautiful A, and Sweet 13. And when it comes to origin spellbooks, there are gifts from the universe when the creation of a coven is sound. Only the universe will grant it. There are other means, but good luck on pressing a god into doing it. Hell, they might not even know how to do it. But once the final prayer to the universe is said, the origins are forced to be silent, as the origin spellbook will start materializing in whatever color the book will be. The sparks will fly from all around the vicinity, piecing together the pages, the hardcover, the decorations, the lock, and the key. The name of the coven will be etched in after all molecules of it hit. Then y'all can do whatever it is the fuck y'all want to do with magic. Put them words together, put your will together, and speak your spells into existence. TPB out.